I'm glad to hear that, Pastor John. I share your enthusiasm for moving the church forward. What ideas do you have in mind? Well, Pastor, I believe we need to focus on three key areas: spiritual growth, community outreach, and discipleship. By strengthening our congregation's spiritual foundation, engaging with the community, and equipping believers to become effective disciples, we can make a significant impact. Those are excellent points, John. I've been considering similar strategies myself. I believe our church has tremendous potential for growth, but it will require concerted effort and dedication from all of us. Absolutely, Pastor. With your leadership and guidance, I'm confident we can achieve great things together. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and get to work. Let's do it, Pastor. Together, we'll lead our congregation to new heights and fulfill the vision God has placed in our hearts. Mary, we need to talk about the direction of our church. The last meeting didn't go as planned, and I fear our progress may be hindered if we don't take action.
I agree, John. It's clear that some members of the leadership team are pushing their own agenda, and it's causing division among us. We can't let it continue.
Perhaps it's time we take matters into our own hands, Mary. We know how to manipulate the situation to our advantage. If we sow enough doubt and discord, we can stall any progress they try to make.
I like the way you think, James. We'll use our own weaknesses against them and ensure that our vision for the church prevails. With enough cunning and persuasion, we can maintain control over the direction of our congregation.
Exactly, Mary. We won't let anyone stand in our way. Together, we'll ensure that the progress of the church aligns with our interests and goals.
We're in this together. With our cunning and influence, we'll shape the future of our church according to our desires. We're in this together, Pastor. With our cunning and influence, we'll shape the future of our church according to our desires.
I couldn't agree more, Deaconess Sarah. We have ideas that could revolutionize our approach to fundraising and increase revenue significantly.
Exactly. And I know just how to handle the senior pastor. He can be resistant to change, but with the right approach, we can open his eyes to the possibilities.
You're absolutely right, Deaconess. Your persuasive skills will be invaluable in this endeavor. Let's set up a meeting with the senior pastor and present our ideas to him.
Consider it done, Pastor John. I'll handle the senior pastor, and together, we'll pave the way for a new era of financial prosperity for our church.
To the future of our church.
To the future indeed, Pastor John. We're about to make history. Pastor, I appreciate your steadfast focus on winning souls for Christ. However, I believe there are ways we can enhance our efforts and generate more income for the church in the process.
I hear what you're saying, Deaconess. But our primary mission is to spread the gospel and bring people to salvation. We mustn't lose sight of that goal in pursuit of material gain.
Of course, Pastor. But imagine the impact we could have if we had the resources to reach even more people. With proper funding, we could expand our outreach programs, renovate our facilities, and provide support to those in need.
I understand your perspective, Deaconess. However, I am hesitant to prioritize financial gain over our spiritual mission. We must trust in the Lord to provide for our needs as we continue to serve Him faithfully.
Pastor, I respect your commitment to our spiritual mission. But the reality is, we live in a world where financial resources are necessary to sustain our ministries. We can't reach souls if we can't even keep our doors open.
You make a valid point, Deaconess. Very well, let us explore ways to generate income for the church while staying true to our core values and mission.
Thank you, Pastor. Together, I believe we can achieve great things for the glory of God and the advancement of His kingdom.
Indeed, Deaconess. Let us proceed with faith and wisdom, trusting that God will guide our efforts every step of the way. God, please show me the way. It seems that we truly need financial resources to support the many ministries and initiatives of our church. We have souls to save, hearts to heal, and communities to uplift. But without the necessary funds, our efforts are hindered, our impact limited. Lord, grant me wisdom to navigate these challenges. Help me discern the path forward, one that honors you while also addressing the practical needs of our congregation. With your guidance, I know we can overcome any obstacle. Lead us, O Lord, and we will follow, trusting in your provision and grace.
James, you seemed tense during the meeting earlier. Is everything all right? What was the discussion about?
Oh, it was just a routine meeting, my dear. We were trying to clarify some things that weren't entirely clear to us. You know how these things go.
That's all. It seemed more intense than that. And why was Deaconess O involved? I thought she usually didn't attend these meetings.
Well, Deaconess had some insights to offer, so I invited her to join us. We wanted to change the atmosphere a bit, gain some fresh perspectives.
I see. Well, just be careful, James. You know how easily rumors can spread in the congregation. We wouldn't want anything to tarnish your reputation.
Of course, my dear. You can trust me to handle things with discretion. Now, why don't we focus on more pleasant matters? How about I take you out for dinner tonight? Deaconess, what's on your mind? You seem troubled.
Pastor James, I've just had a conversation with the senior pastor, and I'm afraid he's adamant about not entertaining any ideas for financial growth.
That's not good news. Without his support, we'll struggle to implement any meaningful changes. What did he say exactly?
He made it clear that he's not interested in prioritizing finances over our spiritual mission. But I fear that without a significant financial boost, our ministries will suffer.
We can't afford to let our church's growth stagnate. If the senior pastor won't listen to reason, then we'll have to take matters into our own hands.
What do you mean, Pastor?
I mean, we may need to consider accessing funds from the church account without the senior pastor's approval. If we show him the tangible results of our initiatives, he'll have no choice but to support us.
But won't that be risky, Pastor? If the senior pastor finds out, we could face serious consequences.
Yes, it's a gamble. But if we don't take action now, our church's future hangs in the balance. We'll proceed cautiously and only access funds as a last resort. But we must be prepared to act decisively if the need arises.
Understood, Pastor James. We'll do whatever it takes to ensure the success and prosperity of our church, even if it means taking risks.
Thank you, Deaconess Sarah. Together, we'll navigate this storm and emerge stronger than ever. Brothers and sisters, today I want to talk to you about the importance of obedience and submission. As your spiritual leader, it is my duty to guide you and direct you in the ways of the Lord. It is imperative that you obey without question, for to defy the authority of your leaders is to defy God Himself. Remember, I have been anointed by the Holy Spirit to lead this congregation, and my word is law. What? Those who dare to challenge my authority will face consequences. I have the power to excommunicate, to shun, to cast out those who refuse to submit. And let me tell you, God will not show mercy to the disobedient. So I urge you, my beloved congregation, to heed my teachings and follow my commands. Your eternal salvation depends on it. Trust in me, and together, we will navigate the path to righteousness. Pastor Mark, I called you here to discuss your recent sermon. Your message displayed a concerning abuse of power and authority, which goes against the principles of our faith. With all due respect, Senior Pastor, I stand by my teachings. I am the shepherd of this congregation, and it is my duty to uphold discipline and order within the flock. Pastor Mark, your approach was heavy-handed and authoritarian. Our faith emphasizes love, compassion, and humility, not fear and coercion. I will not apologize for speaking the truth, Senior Pastor. If you cannot accept my leadership with love and respect, then perhaps it's time for me to seek a congregation that appreciates my gifts and talents. Pastor Mark, please reconsider. We value your contributions to our church, but we cannot condone behavior that causes harm or division among our members. I have made my decision, Senior Pastor. I have not received a salary for months, and I am tired of the constant struggle. I will seek a new church where my leadership is appreciated.
John, did you hear Pastor Mark's sermon today? It felt like he was wielding authority like a sledgehammer.
Yeah, it was intense. I've never seen him so forceful. It felt more like he was asserting dominance than preaching the love of Christ.
It's starting to feel like an abuse of power, isn't it? I mean, the way he talked about consequences for those who question his authority. It's unsettling.
Absolutely. Church should be a place of love, understanding, and spiritual growth, not a dictatorship. I'm worried that this could lead to division among the members.
I overheard him talking with the pastor earlier. Pastor Mark seemed unapologetic about it all. He even mentioned leaving the church if his leadership isn't accepted the way he wants.
Leaving the church? That's a drastic step. But if he's not willing to listen to constructive criticism, maybe it's for the best.
I agree, John. It's just disheartening to see our church going through this. We need a pastor who leads with love and humility, not one who uses fear and control.
James, what's wrong? You seem troubled.
It's Pastor Mark. He's decided to leave the church.
I see. Well, perhaps it's for the best. Let the will of the Lord be done.
Yes, you're right. We must trust in God's plan, even when it's difficult to understand. But I can't help but feel a sense of loss. Pastor Mark has been a valued member of our congregation.
I know, James. Change is never easy, especially when it involves someone we've grown to care about. But we must have faith that God has a purpose for Pastor Mark, wherever he may go.
Thank you, dear. Your wisdom and strength always give me strength, even in the most challenging times.
We're in this together, James. Whatever trials may come, we'll face them as a team, trusting in God's guidance every step of the way.
I can't keep watching things unravel like this. If Pastor Mark leaves and all my assistants follow suit, the church will be in turmoil. I need to do something. Yes, I know what I must do. I need to strike a balance. It's not just about maintaining authority. It's about fostering a community of love, respect, and unity. I must listen to the concerns of my congregation and my assistants. I need to be open to feedback and willing to make changes where necessary. But I also can't compromise on the core values and beliefs that define our church. I won't let fear or pride dictate my actions. I will lead with compassion and integrity, seeking the guidance of the Holy Spirit every step of the way. My dear brothers and sisters, I understand that some of you have reservations about our recent initiatives to increase financial support for the church. But I assure you, these measures are necessary for our survival and growth. I stand before you today with the message of divine opportunity. The Lord has blessed us abundantly, and it's time for us to tap into His blessings in a tangible way. You see, God desires for each of us to experience prosperity in every area of our lives. And He has given us a unique opportunity to partner with Him in achieving financial abundance. Is He talking about money again? I thought our faith was supposed to be about love and salvation. Through your generous contributions to our church, you're not only sowing seeds into God's kingdom, but also positioning yourself to reap a harvest of blessings. Remember, my friends, the more you give, the more you shall receive. Our spiritual growth is important, but we must also be good stewards of the blessings God has given us. By investing in our church, we're investing in our own spiritual and financial prosperity. Thank you for joining me today. As you know, our church is facing some significant financial difficulties, but I believe together we can find a solution. I commend your initiative, Pastor. It's not easy to navigate these kinds of challenges, but your determination to find a solution is inspiring. Yes, absolutely. It's evident that you've put a lot of thought and effort into this plan. I'm confident that with your leadership, we can overcome these obstacles and move forward as a church. Thank you for your kind words. I truly believe that by working together, we can achieve success and prosperity for our church. With your support, we can make a real difference in the lives of our congregation.
Sarah, have you noticed something strange about the church lately?
What do you mean, Joel? Is something wrong?
I can't shake this feeling that the church isn't solely focused on spreading the gospel anymore. It's like they're more concerned about money than winning souls.
Really? But why would you think that?
It's just little things I've noticed. The constant pressure to give more, the emphasis on fundraising over outreach. And then there's Pastor Mark's recent sermon. It felt more like a sales pitch than a message of salvation.
I understand why you're concerned, Joel. Our faith should be about sharing God's love and grace, not about money or material gain.
Exactly. I just worry that if we lose sight of our true purpose, we'll lose something essential to our faith.
We'll keep an eye on things together, Joel. And if we ever feel that the church is straying from its mission, we'll speak up. Our faith is too important to let anything compromise it.
Thank you, Sarah. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Beloved congregation, I stand before you today with a message of profound revelation from the Lord Almighty. Open your hearts and minds to receive His truth. The Lord has spoken to me, revealing a sacred path to spiritual and material abundance. He desires for each of you to experience His blessings in every aspect of your lives. Know this, your financial prosperity is intricately tied to your faithfulness and obedience to God's commandments. Those who give generously to His kingdom shall reap a bountiful harvest in return. Beware, dear ones, for disobedience to the divine truths revealed today invites spiritual oppression into your lives. Questioning the path I lay before you is tantamount to rebelling against the will of God. Therefore, I urge you to heed my words and follow the path of righteousness. Embrace the teachings of this church wholeheartedly, for therein lies the key to unlocking God's abundant blessings in your lives.
You know, I've been feeling unsettled about our church lately. It's like the presence of God just isn't there anymore.
What do you mean? How can you tell if the presence of God has left a church?
In Matthew 18:20, Jesus said, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I among them." But in our church, it's become more about rituals and traditions than truly seeking God's presence. Recognizing the presence of God in a church is not always straightforward and can vary from person to person. However, here are some signs that may indicate the presence of God in a congregation. 1. Genuine worship. When the congregation engages in authentic, heartfelt worship, expressing reverence, adoration, and thanksgiving to God, it can be a sign of His presence. This may involve singing hymns, songs of praise, and lifting up prayers with sincerity and devotion too. Biblical teaching. Churches that prioritize faithful exposition of the Bible and adherence to biblical truth often experience the presence of God in their midst. Clear, convicting preaching that points people to Jesus Christ and His redemptive work can stir hearts and minds to encounter God. 3. Transformed lives. When members of the congregation exhibit genuine spiritual growth, character transformation, and fruitfulness in their lives, it can be a testament to the presence and work of the Holy Spirit. Witnessing lives being changed and restored through the power of God's grace is a powerful indicator of His presence. 4. Unity and love. Church is characterized by love, unity, and mutual care among members reflect the presence of God. When people genuinely love and support one another, bearing each other's burdens and rejoicing in each other's joys, it demonstrates the work of the Holy Spirit in fostering community and fellowship. 5. Prayer and intercession. Churches that prioritize prayer and intercession, both individually and corporately, often experience a deep sense of God's presence. When members regularly seek God's guidance, wisdom, and intervention through prayer, it invites His Spirit to move in powerful ways.
You're right. We must hold fast to what is good and true, even if it means confronting uncomfortable truths. Thank you for listening and for your wise counsel.